you just want to play on some new stuff and like see something new. But it's kind of good to play same all the time, so you can just learn.
目前为止，对我们战队表现就比较满意吧。然后我们都打得就挺轻松的，都打得挺好的。
All this tournament, we're already showing like new EP stuff. It's not the same like for the last years.
VP 一直以来就是个老牌强队嘛，他们就每个人都实力特别强。那我想说，就是我们也不弱吧，就希望能在比赛中就打好，赢下他们。
I want to wish good luck.
Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Indeed, we are ready for the Vodafone pre-match for the upper bracket final. It's Vici versus Virtus, Gaming versus Pro. These two have a very long history between each other, not least of which in 2018, and not least of which at ESL One in previous events. In Katowice, they met 8 times in all. Of course, Virtus.pro in the end coming out on top in the grand final. They'll want some payback, I'm sure, the players on Vici Gaming, although it should be said, and we haven't really spoken about this, they only have 2 of the players left from that match just a few short months ago. It has been all change as far as Vici is concerned, but maybe for the better. However, we're going to start with Virtus.pro as we return back to the panel. Our members are already willing and able to bring us their thoughts on what should be a fantastic upper bracket final series. Kyle's with us alongside Blitz and Cap, gents. We're going to start with Virtus.pro and start talking about where they are right now. How have they performed in comparison to what you thought you would get out of them? They started out as outright favourites at this tournament. Have they lived up to that billing?
When they're trying, yeah. I think they kind of phoned it in during group stage, but they only, you just had to be top seed, right? They got there, and I think that they are still very much the favorites to win this tournament. Yeah. If there's a team to stop them, it's right here.
And Will, they're not really renowned as a group stage team, are they? They do tend to, as Carl said, they do tend to phone it in a little bit and mess around and, you know, have crazy drafts, and it doesn't really matter to them.
Yeah, when you're as good as you are and you've proven it multiple times at multiple ESL events, I think you get a little bit of leeway. I think you get to do whatever you want, and we shouldn't really question that too much.
No, okay. Cap, still good? I mean, Ramses has been saying they're not a tier 1 team right now. What on earth is he talking about?
Maybe he's just not happy quite with their performance just yet, but I would say they've already proven themselves by taking down Team Secret in a best of 3, who I think is easily one of the strongest teams at this tournament. If they can take off Vici Gaming, I think they're undisputed the best team here. So.
How good is no one, Carl?
Really good. I mean, I don't want to compare him to anybody. Like, I love Limp as an example, and I see him and no one as very similar players, the way they approach the game. They're incredibly hardworking. They're prone to a little bit of tilt, but they try real hard. And after TI, I think they both went out and played Invoker so they can pick it.
Right.
But no one's all of a sudden one of the best 3 in the world. And that's like the key hero for this matchup, I think. I just feel like his Invoker is like the best I've seen recently. Like, it's nuts. And I just give so much respect to a guy that can go from 0 to hero that quick.
The only change they've made, and I asked this to Blitz on purpose, is in the coaching area. What difference is that going to make to them? And what difference do you think it's made so far in this tournament?
I think what I was told anyways is, like Bulba, for example, he doesn't really like coaching for prolonged periods of time because he thinks that eventually what ends up happening is your ideas become their ideas and back and forth. Like, you just kind of meld into one.
Right.
And I mean, I think Artstyle is a very smart Dota mind, but maybe there was just some stagnation there, whereas Zeke was playing as recently of last year. And so he's got his own thoughts on the game. He has a different approach to things, and you don't really just want a yes guy, somebody that says, yeah, that idea is good. You want somebody that says, this could be even better. Have you tried this approach yet? Have you tried that approach yet? And I think this is going to make them a lot more complex of a team, because at TI, they did get figured out at some point. So you want somebody fresh, somebody that doesn't just know everything that you know.
Okay. Vici, Talking of changes, Cap have made an awful lot of changes. There are only 2 of the original team that played this Virtus.pro side just a few months ago at Katowice. Paparazzi and Ori, obviously the core of the team. How have the other 3 settled in already? Because I don't feel like we've mentioned that they've made these massive changes. Everyone else, we've talked about stand-ins and who's changed in the core role and everything. These guys have made 3 changes.
Well, their support duo in Fade, I think Fade showed a lot of promise on VGJ Thunder last year. That team did not have the greatest success, but I think he was definitely kind of like a rising star. And DY, who they kind of picked up out of nowhere, is proven to be really good. Quite excited about this player. Yang, I'm always kind of, I'm not the biggest Yang fan personally, but I think he's still probably like top 3, maybe top 5 offlaners in China, so you can never go wrong.
Agree, disagree?
Yeah, I think you touched on a lot of good points.
Yeah. Are you okay with the 3 that they've got in? Because there were a number of Chinese players out in the field, and apparently, you know, almost everyone was up for grabs at one point, bar maybe 2 or 3 really key players. They could have almost had anyone out there.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that goes to say, like, the old guard is kind of being pushed out of the scene, like Lanham being replaced on the 4 as an example.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players that were probably going to be an upgrade, but I like this idea that these Chinese teams are going to bring in new blood because it's been so successful in the West, and the East has really taken some time to adapt to this. And for a while, it was every TI shuffle was just like the same teams, but swapping some players around, and it's not going to work like that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they've started to, haven't they? Well, they've started to change things up. I mean, there are some new blood coming through. They have, like, you know, Vici potential players coming through, old CDEC youth players coming through. We're starting to see them.
Yeah, and this is what you need to kind of re-inject the scene. You can't just see the same faces rehashed in slightly different rosters. You need to build those new bridges. I remember before Sumail came onto the scene, nobody wanted to play with anybody new. It was such an old boys club. Then you saw that you could have success with new players like that, that you could take this talent, mold it into something even better. I feel like this is the right direction for the Chinese scene to follow.
Yeah. Anytime there was new players in like the NA scene, it was because you had this 5-stack. They came up together. And we saw that, of course, in the Chinese scene, most notably with Wings, who had the ultimate success, right?
Well, Virtus.pro team, I mean, arguably came up together, bar Roger?
Yeah, I guess in some ways. Even back then, if you remember like the Virtus.pro reshuffle, it felt like, oh, we're taking some of these elements.
It was still a CIS shuffle, wasn't it, to a degree?
Yeah,
no, I take your point. Along that line, there's DY in this team. What have you made of him so far?
I like DY a lot. I think that DY and Fade make a pretty sick support combo. And I mean, you just have stable players because you already have the star making cores. You have Yang, who was in the All-Star game at DAC. He's a very good player. You have Paparazzi, who is known as the one-on-one king. Like, if there's an SF 1v1 player, when we played the OpenAI bot, it was like, can anybody beat it? And everyone said, yeah, Paparazzi will definitely beat it, 100%. Sight unseen will win. And then you've got Ori, who I think was, in my opinion, kind of mediocre last season. But this season, when it comes to his laning, he's really stepped it up another level. I think he's seen the pressure, like, oh, people can be replaced. And I'm not the untouchable guy here, Paparazzi is. So I need to step my game up if I want to be the mid for this kind of player.
Yeah, okay. More thoughts from you in just a moment, but we're going to get the view of our Vodafone view right now as well. The boys up in the sky. Let's find out what players they've picked out to watch in this match.
Thanks a ton, Red Eye. Yes, we have some players to talk about. A lot of big names in this match, Purge, but I have chosen 2 that I believe we should keep our eyes on the most. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Paparazzi, Big Daddy Carry, and Ramses. All right, the game is all about carry, baby. It's all about that #1.
It's kind of funny you said Big Daddy because they're like the shortest players on both teams, I'm pretty sure.
Well, short in stature, but high in kill death ratios and farming Purge.
That's true. I mean, Ramses has had a really great career. Definitely lots of wins under his belt, lots of prize money. But on the other side, Paparazzi, equally good, if not a better player, but far less wins as a whole, but still super talented. Paparazzi flew under the radar in the last year, but I think this is definitely the team where he can step up and really become like an all-star of all time kind of player if they have a good record.
Oh, I like Ramses. He's been real good, but he ain't ever been MVP before at an ESL One event. Could this be the one? Will this be the series that shoots him into that MVP role potentially?
I mean, he's been playing really, really well for sure. He's definitely been a little more consistent than before. I'm not saying he was bad before, just he had slight inconsistency. He's been playing fantastic. He's got to do well here and then also crush in the grand finals to get a car. Otherwise, we might see a 2-time winner. You never know.
I don't know, man. My eye is on that 9 posture myself. But anyway, big competitions here. A lot of big names gonna clash and hope to see which #1 ends up as the #1. Thanks a lot, guys. Back to you.
Thanks very much. Yes, a battle of the ones for sure. We're definitely going to have some of that in this game. What else are we going to look forward to in this game, Kyle?
I think it'll be a really tight series. There's going to be both teams have somewhat similar styles. They play a balanced lineup, but it's not like that Pain versus Aster series where Aster's kind of all in banking on Sylar, Pain trying to end the game quickly. Like, these are two very balanced teams. They're going to have a lot of stability in the draft, and the key 4 heroes, Mag, Brew, Kunkka, Invoker, all about the huge team fight engagements. Whoever can take the most of those, usually the ones around Roche, is probably going to take the game.
Okay, I have to tell you, and Will know this in Cap as well from last season, I'm very excited by this Vici lineup compared to where it was last season. Right then, time to move on. Time to invite our teams to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, for our upper bracket final.
Here we go. Hamburg. Do you feel that? Do you feel that? We are in for an amazing time for Dota, ladies and gentlemen. Let's meet our first team. They have been dominating in each ESL One, and they are ready to showcase exactly that right about now. They are your Mercedes Gatekeepers. They are your ESL One defending champions. Give it up for Virtus.pro! Let him hear you, Hamburg. Virtus.pro! Ladies and gentlemen, their opponents have faced this team in a grand final back in ESL One Katowice, and they have fallen, but definitely want to even the score. This is a grudge match. Let's welcome them to the stage, Vici Gaming! Let's welcome them to the stage, Vici Gaming! Hamburg, if you play one, you are in for a show. Let's get this started. VP versus Vici!
Yep, plenty of history between these two. 29 games played between these, split pretty evenly. And in 2018, it's Virtus.pro have the slight advantage, but it is only a slight advantage. But they've managed to come up with the goods every time it's mattered, except at TI, where they lost both games to Vici, as we've said already, and Eri pointed out on the stage. Champions at ESL One Katowice at the expense of Vici. They'll be looking for some redemption here, no doubt, in this series. Now, gents, we usually don't do this in terms of, predictions before, but if you came into this and you saw Vici playing Virtus Cap, without seeing drafts, without looking at anything else, who do you favor?
I mean, I guess I would just go to Virtus.pro based on history.
That's the natural way, isn't it?
And based on the fact that this isn't TI, so I expect Virtus.pro to always be able to pull through to the finals.
Will, I mean, is that a blip, the TI?
I think so. Like, it's hard to say just because TI, it's such a weird tournament where even though a team can look like the best team in the world for such a long time, they won't necessarily win the event.
Right, and likewise, a team who haven't done very well for a long time can rise up and win it. But you almost did need to isolate TI as a separate set of results, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. It's like OG, for example. They looked terrible. Then they lost what a lot of people would consider their two most important pieces. They get a relative unknown and a cast-off on their team, and suddenly they're the best team at TI. Like, sometimes those miracle runs can happen, but what's really impressive to me is longevity and consistency, and that's something that Virtus.pro has in spades. Like, this team, if you need them to win, they'll win, and they'll win consistently across the board. And even though TI, yeah, their results are a little bit less than outstanding, I mean, you still have high expectations for them going into any other tournament.
And because they lost TI, they're going to stay hungry, right? That's the other big thing.
Well, I mean, you would hope so, wouldn't you? Because the other flip is that they just can't, okay, we did that twice and it still didn't work.
I mean, they changed coaches. I think that's a sign that they know that they have to continue to improve as the season moves forward.
Yeah, they definitely have long-term contracts as well. Let's turn our attention towards the draft, Kyle. What do you want to see from Virtus.pro? Do you want to see the Invoker no one? Do you want to see them playing that kind of fast pace that we've seen in the group stage?
Pretty much. The thing is, they play a fast pace with heroes that also scale exponentially. And I think that's both of these teams' bread and butter, where they are capable, much like we saw in that last series where Pain had HFN and we had both capable of being the win condition or like the support for the win condition. In some way, both these teams have that same capability. No one Ramses, Ori Paparazzi, they're all talented. They can all play pretty much whatever they need to take a game. And I just want to make a quick point. ROTK led his team out of the tunnel.
Yes, he did.
As the starter. I have never seen another coach do that. And
he's a formidable foe. I mean, he is, you know,
it's a good
revered, I think is the right way of saying it in China.
Yeah, in much the way Astra is Burning's team, this Vici lineup is ROTK's team. And from what I read about the commentary from the Chinese scene is that when this Vici lineup can execute the game plan, they look fantastic. But if it ever goes off the script that they draw up, thanks mostly in part to their coach, things can get a little hazy.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, if you look back to how Thunder played last season, that's not too different, is it? I mean, we saw that. He was very demonstrable in the seat. He was saying, no, you're playing this. I don't care whether you like it or not. You're playing it. It's what we need to win this game. He demanded that from his team. I don't necessarily think he's quite the same person. And we've seen him sitting in the middle of the jet, but there seems to be a bit more cohesion around him. They are getting some voices at least. So maybe it's not as, you know.
Well, this is also what I think the new generation of top teams is going to be. You have the old, washed-up players with all the experience coaching the new blood.
Did you just call Burning and ROTK washed up?
They don't play Dota anymore. I'm not saying they're bad. Kobe's still probably a great basketball player, but he's not
washed up.
He's retired. It's the same
thing.
thing.
That's different. It's not the same thing. Washed up is like, you know, you move to a panel because you can't play anymore. That's kind of washed up, right?
If it's by choice. I'm on, what's it called, a sabbatical.
A sabbatical, that's the word. Yeah, I like that. That just means that, you know, you haven't found the right thing yet and you're waiting for an opportunity. I like it. Right, let's turn our attention towards this draft. Cap, Vici, what are they going to draw? What do they want to draw? What's their favorite?
I mean, one of the big things that always stands out is they have a very significant amount of team fight in every single one of their drafts. They've got like the Silencer or Phoenix opening in like almost every single one of their 1-2s. Not the Wyvern, which is still strong.
And still favoring a lot of Luna as well. More than any other team here.
Which is interesting. They always seem to be like, most of their games, they have that sort of hard carry. I'm not sure if that's more meta or based around who they are as a team, but I know I would want to build my game around Paparazzi as much as possible.
Yeah, that's what they've done so far with their drafts, is that they usually draft like one significant hard carry and then just a bunch of playmaker team fights.
Not that they're going to get it this time around, because obviously the IO is banned out, but they are one of the few teams that has actually managed to squeak through an IO gyro at this event. So if they get the chance, they'll take it.
Not this time around, let's see.
Negative. That's also a continuation, by the way, with the Wisp, is that it's been banned or picked in every single game at the entire tournament for 5 days.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter how much.
Not really surprising, is it?
It's a mechanic that changes the way Dota's played. There's no real way to counter a Wisp. You can have good heroes plan for it, but at the end of the day, like, it just does things. Nothing compares.
Axe ban is alongside the Weaver and the Silencer for Virtus.pro.
I would have thought the Phoenix was the more important component of their 1-2, right? Because you can still get a different melee initiator that covers the Phoenix. Maybe not as well as Hats, but...
Yep, they've played the Phoenix 6 times, opened with it 5 through the group stage and the previous bracket match.
Tiny still in the pool, very surprised. I think if Vici lets that through, it may be what VP ends up selecting, but I think they might value the Phoenix slightly higher. It's one or the other, it seems, in their openers. Ogre's out. Yeah,
yep, they've removed the Ogre, which does leave the Phoenix, and that is exactly what Vici will open with alongside the Necro.
And you're facing a Tiny, right? So you want that Necrophos?
Yeah, and the thing about it is, you'd think that this is a really bad setup for Tiny already. You don't want to play against Phoenix Necro, but because they're so comfortable putting Roger on the hero, it's not so bad. And Vici's utilized their entire opener to sort of deny a core Tiny, but you just make it a 4, and all of a sudden you have tempo in the draft, and you're already a couple steps ahead.
And you're fine with having Roger on that as well.
There's no Silencer to counter this. There's no Ogre to pressure the Necrophos. What else is left?
What if you just take like a Brew or a Pugna and just say, yeah, we'll just open this?
I think Brew is possible.
Oh, they take the Invoker.
That works too.
They did this in game 2 against Secret, their last series. Just a straight up 4th pick Invoker.
I mean, again, it's no one Invoker. Like, I'm telling you, this guy's out of control. He's one of the few people I've seen that maximizes his boss wipe Exort points. I've seen him go 2-2-2, 1-1-3, like all kinds of weird combinations. And he's also one of the few players that last hits super efficiently on Invoker in that they swap Exort, attack, go Quas back into Exort, like in between auto attacks. I don't know how they do that. Like, my fingers personally would hurt, and I'd be unable to play after a couple games like that, but...
Is this too early, Will?
For the Invoker?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think so. I just think it's a solid hero overall anyways. It doesn't get hard countered that badly. Like, you just have to remove some of the worst matchups. Like, you probably don't want to play against a PL.
Yep.
That's the one hero I would say like really bothers you in laning phase and on.
Virtus.pro has had the opportunity. They've done this several times now where they've saved a support for last pick. Kind of shows a lot of confidence that they're willing to reveal the most core components of their strategy in the first 4 picks.
Yeah. Well, it's just nice when you have a mid player that fears nothing, right?
Yeah.
There's not many people with the confidence to say, oh yeah, give me Invoker, I'll play against anything. But
you just kind of have to be worried about getting like Huskard and stuff too.
Yeah, it's true. And Ori Huskar is terrifying. I saw him beat, don't remember who it was, but he beat a Viper mid at TI, and I was awestruck. It's not supposed to be possible, and this is great. The DY tree, I should have seen this one coming. Excellent synergy with the Phoenix and the Necro. You hunt the Invoker all game, and you can root through BKB, which is really nice because VP love this, like these mag drafts. The Invoker, they want to hit timings where no one in Ramses have BKB, and then they can take big team fights, but the tree just denies this.
Oh, an Oracle.
So they take the Oracle.
Yep.
Purge off Ghost Shroud.
Yep.
You do a lot of direct damage. It's really scary for this Necrophos, and you counter the Reaper sign.
Has only been played once, of course, and guess who played it?
VP.
It was.
Yep, they beat NIP's Necro with this already.
Yep. So Vici take Terrorblade?
And this is easy Brew or Morphling. Yeah, I think if they leave the Brew in, they just take that next. But Morph just beats TB and it beats Morphling really hard. Like, Ramsey's probably the best Morph in the world as well. I feel like VP's already miles ahead in this draft. I love what they've done.
And this is going to be a final pick support, you think? Or
No. This is
they'll
a tiny,
use the tiny support?
Yeah.
So like Brewmaster, if not, I don't know, I kind of like Centaur here.
Yeah, Centaur, or Centaur's a bit rough, I think, against Phoenix, Early Spirit Vessel, plus a Necro.
You're, offensively, you're going to deal, like, you're going to have a lot of problems, but that's where the Oracle comes in. But you are also very good at being able to just, like, pop when it comes to the egg, pop your ultimate.
Don't you want to just take Brew? I take Brew 100%.
I think they're banning Brew. They're 100% banning Brew.
So after the Brewmaster, William.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Because the Weaver's gone. The Enigma's gone.
You could take something like... Oh, they banned Pugna.
Yeah.
Okay. It's Brew or Centaur, but
I think Pugna would have been sick. It's good against both. It was what I advocated as the first two, right? So you take it because it's excellent against like 4 of the heroes.
Ooh. You know what's still there? The Huskar.
Yeah. It just depends on what VP pick is their last. You can push the pace pretty fast though as Huskar.
So either Virtus.pro ban it or they pick it.
Nah, you can't go Huskar here. Unless they want to do some weird Pasha morphling. But I think it's game 1. It's far less likely to see those weird tweaks. I think both teams probably think they're better coming into this matchup, especially VP. I mean, they've won the last 3 ESLs. They don't feel the need to get fancy, I don't believe.
They Huskar game 1 and 3 though in the previous round.
That's true.
They're not below it, that's for sure.
So
this is also a team that got brooded in the grand final at ESL One Katowice by the same team.
Yeah, I think VP should take Brew. I think it's...
You just want that strength hero, right? Because right now, there's no... this Oracle doesn't have somebody to play around. And Morphling and Invoker really benefit from having multiple heroes that go in and create chaos.
Storm ban. What's the classic Oracle pairing?
You really set up this Huskar, aren't you, Ball?
Support Morphling.
They can run support Tiny.
Offlane Morphling.
What mids solve Vici Gaming?
It's going to be
kind of set on
it's going to be messy.
So what are the mids that kind of solves the problems for Vici Gaming?
I think you just need something that runs at them.
Yeah. I like more catch. I don't know if Kunkka's good for this game. I know Virtus.pro banned Kunkka whenever they pick up Invoker.
It's like Kunkka, DK, Lina.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty... Lina's kind of... I think Lina's good, but she's kind of annoying to play against Oracle.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe like a TA or something.
You want more of a frontliner, don't you?
Yeah.
I could see a Bloodseeker if they're confident he can crush no one Invoker mid, but I think more likely they just sack the lane in some ways. Not sack, but just accept a trade with something like a DK. I actually think that's how you need to approach VP as a lineup. Like, you don't want to give no one a power 1v1. Like, don't let him beat you, you know?
Oh, that makes sense.
All right. Like, it's the more sensible route.
Give me that Huskar.
Yeah, it's a great Huskar game.
Or that Kunkka. I could be down with Kunkka too.
I don't know if I like Kunkka against an Oracle. It's just so easy. Your combo takes so long to set up, it's almost impossible for you to avoid doing no damage thanks to the save of the Oracle.
TA is good too. I'd be okay with any of those.
I don't know. I've seen no one Quas Wex be the TA before. I just don't know, man. They went DK, yeah. Makes sense. I like it.
Your point about the Kunkka, I like the DK a lot more. Oracles really kills your game.
You need that point stun. You need the ability to kill the Oracle and the Invoker at the start of fights. And you don't want to have Centaur ult be a huge factor. Kill the Oracle, you're going to win fights, but I still just think that this is VP's bread and butter. Like, this is just vintage. I don't see how they lose with this.
All right, thank you very much, gents. We'll get more, of course, from all 3 panel members after our first game when we check back in with them. Right now, though, ladies and gents, it's game number 1 of the upper bracket final. Virtus versus Vici.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for a series that's going to be guaranteed to give us some spectacular showings from both sides. Vici Gaming against Virtus.pro here at the top. I'm ODPixel. I'm going to be joined by Trent for this one, and we can expect a clash of the ages here.
Yep, love it. Tons of team fight coming up inside of Vici Gaming. That classic pairing at this point of the Dream Protector and the Phoenix. up against this Morphling and a first phase Invoker. Truly no fear here. This hero seems to be pinnacle, top tier, if you got the player for it, and we know Virtus.pro do.
Absolutely. We've seen it time and time again from no one. There is a reason why this is a team that gets away with taking it at the start, and they've got some great synergies around it. Do you, sort of overlooking the drafts, you've heard the panel's opinions, would you say you feel one of these two sides is looking a little hotter from their lineup?
Ooh, it is hard to go against that Virtus.pro one for sure. Definitely seems pretty much in their wheelhouse. I also think that so far, seeing Roger on the support Tiny feels like one of the better ones to me. So, looks pretty good. Dragon Knight, maybe I'm not so hot on that hero, but Terrorblade and the Necrophos have been looking good. So,
absolutely.
Both sides, maybe a slight edge to Virtus.pro, but I think once you're up on stage, nothing that really makes a big difference.
And we've seen this Terrorblade Necrophos be very popular with both Chinese teams here. Last series we saw Asta have some success with in one of the games with these two. The second game not so much, where they were run over. We'll see if VP are going to sort of play that fast pace against these two heroes if they want to slow things down. If they get good timings on the blinks on Pasha and Roger, they can certainly look to be very active across the map. But they do also have this late game fallback with Ramses on the Morphling and no one, as we've been talking about, on the Invoker.
Yeah, and that's the question, is just like, are you going to make it to late game? How much of this early game is dependent on Sunstrikes? How much can this Invoker and Morphling play around the other three heroes on the team? They have a ton of burst damage between a Tiny, a Centaur, and an Oracle, so just that little bit of extra from the Sunstrike is going to help you scare pretty much anyone for the side of Virtus.pro. It looks terrifying to play into, but are they going to be scouted out by DY on the Treant Protector? You know, this guy, he can get in there pretty deep, all across the opponent's side of the map, get some good wards down. Maybe if he can spot those rotations and force only smoke kills coming up from Virtus.pro, that might slow it down enough that the Vici Gaming, they also have a very nice late game lineup too.
Yeah, and talking about DY, definitely a player that's impressed me coming into this tournament. Not really a player that, you know, is sort of a big name in China, an old name, and it's a bit of a new name. And his performances on these heroes, like the Treant and like the Nyx Assassin, he's been perfect in just making sure he's always in the right place at the right time, giving that crucial extra bit of vision, information, being able to find the opener onto sort of the back lines of the opposition at the start of the team fights. You can guarantee that DY is going to be there set up in position.
Yeah, it's not often that you get people coming from like the lower tiers of China and really making a bigger impact on the top of the scene. Probably the hardest region to move up in, and at this tournament we have two in particular, D-Stones and then DY coming from, well, VG Potential. So obviously they saw something in it, and let's see if it'll be realized.
See how these opening lanes go. So in the mid lane, it's a DK lane. We saw it earlier. On this hero, you're going to be able to find the farm. Unlikely that no one's going to be able to harass him out at any point. Even with a rotation in, it's going to be hard after the first few levels with the Dragon's Blood that Ori's going to have built up. A very beefy hero to stand his ground in the mid, but at the same time, no one shouldn't feel under any sort of threat himself, unless a rotation does come through earlier. But at the moment, the pressure's going to be there on the side lanes. DY backing up Paparazzi on this safe lane. As VP, they have got Ramses down here, having some carry-on-carry action to start the game off, as they both contest for farm on this bottom half of the map.
Yeah, just big, beefy supports there. Treant Protector, one of the best at trying to force out these denies going your way. As much as Morphling has that high attack damage with the Morph and everything, Treant Protector, he just wants to play this bully style, so he's going to be ignoring that Nature's Guise, kind of like the offlane style that we saw from Seb at TI. But the whole idea is don't ever go invisible, because you just want to be present in the lane at all times.
A stun there onto Fade as he comes across at the sideboard. Solo and Pasha doing their best to control. And Pasha, of course, top lane, farming on the Centaur. And what's he against? It's this Yang, this top lane Necrophos. Back up at the Phoenix. Again, pretty much another lane, sort of similar to the sense of the DK in the mid lane, this time around on the top, with Pasha being as beefy as he is on the center, especially with an Oracle backup. He should be able to get pretty uncontested farm up top.
Yeah, just have to be a little bit cautious about his HP, because he's being constantly harassed by the Heartstopper aura, which of course percent-based, pretty handy against someone super beefy like him. And I really like seeing Fade and Yang playing together.
Yep.
Oh, they're finally getting some aggression.
They've got the Avalanche into DY. He does have the Leech Seed healing him up. Got it off before the stuns came through, so will manage to walk away.
Oh, that's huge. Like, he hit the salve too, so they were trying to get the full commitment there from Virtus.pro. That's why they hadn't gone in so long. I had finally felt that confidence, like, okay, this time we're going to get him. But when you screw that up and you lost all of these resources having to spend that mana, and he's just suddenly right back where he was. I am a little worried. I feel like this Invoker, I mean, this was a first phase Invoker. He's supposed to be, you know, having a hard game. This looks like a pretty good game. I don't see any heroes that are really going to be ganking mid. The Phoenix is the only one that has the pressure there.
Yeah, very hard for sort of the tree to get in position to do anything at the early levels with the tower up. And bottom lane again, DY talking about the tree. He will fall as VP get first, but they do lose Roger for it. But they'll take it, getting that first blood extra gold.
If there's two of these position 4 supports that just absolutely love first blood. It's that Ursa that some teams run, and it's the Tiny that we've got a little bit more popular. So crucial getting this early goal, because that just means how much faster you can get your Blink Dagger after those boots.
See Ramses there in the game. His signature position, knees up, pressed against the table. He has beaten many top-tier Dota team sat in that position. It's Roger, quick smoke up, getting a ward down. Let's find an Invis rune down at the bottom. Was actually left there for sort of the full 2 minutes. He'll hang around, see if he gets the double rune, but it's going to be top lane. There's a DD. See if he can set something up with the Invis.
That would have been dangerous.
If he got the DD as well as the Invis, absolutely. Pretty much a guaranteed gank that he could pull off as DY.
Ramsey's baiting this in.
It doesn't expect to have this Tiny coming in from Invis as DY tries to get the living armor off, but he can't quite. The burst from VP enough as they make their imprint on this bottom lane once again.
He throws the tree into the camp just in time to get the pull right after that gank too. Just really smart play there. Gonna fix the equilibrium.
Every single time, Roger. As you saw in the mid lane, no one was able to make the short trek up top to grab himself that DD rune. So we're going to see in this matchup himself be able to catch up, close that little bit of a gap, as we do see Ori still maintaining the lead in this mid lane. He's got the superior last hits and denies, 23-10 against 18-7. But still very close.
Roger battling up here. He managed to get a little bit of the goal for himself. And what can you do as paparazzi, right? This guy has boots already. Just running away from you. He's toying with you at this point, and you know he's going to stun you for that rune, so you got to run.
Roger's able to grab it.
That's going to make it 3 for 4 for Virtus.pro. All stemming from that kill on the Treant Protector, and by virtue of that rune.
See no one with one of the highest rates on the Invoker.
That is quite the lineup. Oh,
number 5 in the world.
Your boy Blink, though.
Close behind. Spot up. Ramses and, as we've seen, Paparazzi, in terms of CS, they're falling at, so they're not as far ahead, they're not having a free lane, but they're matching each other in farmers. DY again. I mean, I feel like I kind of put this man under fire. I said at the start, this guy's positioning, wow, he's just died for the 3rd time in that lane.
It's very tough, though, on the Treant when you're playing in that style.
They are punishing that tree perfectly, this bottom lane, dual lane from VP.
Yeah, for a Treant Protector, you like a lane where you have like a kill threat. I mean, playing in the offlane, honestly, is the real dream for a Treant Protector. You want to play with some offlane hero that you can come into your Nature's Guise and have this big surprise. This heal style one with just the Leech Seed and the Living Armor works really well in a core role because you're also lasting the entire time. But he has no invisible threat when he's gone this build, and there's so much burst from that support Tiny that most supports he can kind of trade with more evenly.
Roger having a fantastic start to the game with these lanes in mind. That's mid lane Ori, with the Dragon Form starting to put some pressure onto the tier 1 tower. Bottom lane, each and every time, it's sort of the strength of having this morph against the Terror Blade. This is a hero that, during that metamorphosis, unless there's sort of like a hard lockdown, you're never really worried as the morph. You're always going to be able to walk it off, keep the distance, wait until it's over. It's unlikely you're going to see Ramses die to an early level of meta.
Yeah, they even put the pressure on the reflection here. You can see the confidence in Ramses.
He knows that he can just turn with the punch and just sort of trade back the harass evenly onto Paparazzi. Paparazzi does have a bit of the living armor. It's taken off pretty quickly as VP punched through the instances of it all.
That's actually an underrated aspect of this Morphling in this lane too, is that they have no surprise damage, right? There's no like burst spell or anything like that. So Ramses can play at the complete absolute limit, because all he has to worry about is projectiles from a ranged attack of a Terror Blade, and he'll be able to morph that off in no time.
He's only going to die in this lane if he makes a pretty huge mistake. Or if a rotation comes through, if we see Vici Gaming throw another member in. But you can see, Ramses just keeping the agi pretty high, keeping his health pretty low. He's confident that DY and Paparazzi, as you say, that they're not going to be able to kill this Morphling down.
And it's very important that this happens too, because if we look at a Terror Blade as well as a Dragonite, I mean, you get 6 on a DK. Oh!
And again, you see Ramses going in underneath the tower. Sunstride's going to be off the point. It's not even needed. As this is the aggression we're talking about. Ramses so confident with the way that he dives underneath the tower, sees the exact opportunity where they can go for the kill. This is just some absolute sort of perfect play from this Morphling. He has the perfect amount of confidence. He knows all of his limits, and he knows what he can get away with. It's top lane Pasha, getting chased. Reaper Scythe comes in, but Solo starting to see some of those cute plays. The Sunstrike. Ho, 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 ho. Vici Gaming, you're playing against Virtus.pro. You've got to step it up that little bit as VP with those outplays. And nice, it's nice, isn't it, Trent, to see some good classic Oracle saving action coming in. Not a hero we get to see a lot nowadays.
No, usually he can just do the same thing on Bane with Nightmare, and you know, got a few other tools, so it's understandable why they love that hero so much too. But Solo, I mean, he's just so good.
He is. On any sort of these saving heroes. He really, really is. Mid lane, the tower goes down, but as we saw, no one gets the deny.
Yeah, that really hurts. But still, this is what you need to be doing with Ori. I think in a game like this is a Morphling and an Invoker. You definitely want to try and push the tempo a little bit, because you have a TB, and although this hero also likes to farm, he can join pushes pretty easily.
Again, dispersed, bringing down the Necrophos very low, but I'm a Necrophos. Ghost Shroud and a wand, and he's back up to full.
Solo looked like he was a little low on mana there. Didn't have the opportunity to finish it. And there we go, he made a mistake.
And talk about making mistakes, that certainly was one. Lets himself get nuked down by Ori's Breathe Fire. As the movement for the Dragonite catching him out in this bottom lane, as that is going to be a big kill for Vici Gaming, opening up the potential to really push in. Sure, the Dragon Form's ended. Paparazzi's got the meta though, and they've taken that tier 1 mid. They're looking to take the one bottom. We'll see straight away the TP coming in from VP as they'll lead forward, trying to start something off. More TP's coming through as well. No one's come in, but Roger's being focused down, pushed back. The Metamorphosis damage is enough. They'll take down Roger. They'll lose the Treant for it. Sunder comes through from Paparazzi, trading life, keeping himself in a better position comparatively to no one. Stun as well. To hold back Ramses, who's in the DK form at the moment, trying to chase down, see if he can find a stun himself. Unlikely though, as Ori keeps the distance. So VP will be able to stop that bottom tier 1 tower going down for now.
Yeah, nice pick up there from DY. Before he went down though, he kind of got tossed back and still found Roger on his way out. So he'll get a little bit of gold for his death, but Ramses does bounce back by getting some of those kills for himself. And that means 10-minute bounty runes here. Just gonna go 2 for 2. Soul will grab both on the bottom. And we have a regen rune up top that'll get scouted by Roger, but actually no one could use it here, so solid stuff for VP. From here, Ori, question for him will be, where do I go? Where do I want to ult? What tower do I want to take down? Do we want to finish bottom? Do we want to kind of take some attention away from that lane and try and help out a Terrorblade? Because Virtus.pro, they're very happy to keep punishing him under this tower.
Down bottom. They want to look to punish Paparazzi. In comes the nukes, the Sunstrike as well as the waveform forward. Not quite enough. The regen actually helping out Paparazzi a little bit, but it won't keep him safe as the burst comes in. They'll lose Solo for this one. Yang trying to find Ramses in return. As they'll start to push him back. Ramses beginning to shift into strength. No one elsewhere actually finding the kill onto DY. Roger's there with the backup to throw out the avalanche, keep them held back from Ramses. They're diving forward though. They really want to find this, but Stampede's there from Pasha. They keep the distance, get themselves away from Ori, who came into the lane with the Elder Dragon form. So Vici Gaming, they won't get a kill, but they are back in position to set up, try and finish off this tier 1 tower.
Yeah, if they get the tower here, this is going to end up being a very good play from Yang. Being so patient with that scythe and not trying to force anything onto Ramses. So now he's got the threat under tower.
Solo with a quick disarm for now.
That save.
DK, the 2-man avalanche.
Solo was going to get scythed.
Can we see if they can get the deny again, and they can. So both towers, sure, they've been taken by Vici Gaming. They're being able to obviously get the benefit of the extra map control and pressure, but we are seeing VP sort of shut down that pretty significant gold advantage that they could have claimed from both of those towers as they get it reduced with the 2 denies so far.
Yeah, pretty brutal changes of late in Dota is how much those denies hurt you. Yeah. So getting 2 in a kind of like push-heavy lineup like this where you're expecting a snowball, like the importance of Blink Daggers for Virtus.pro, sure, tiny, as well as the Center War Runner, but just those earlier levels and items of like the auras and stuff for this Radiant team also so important. And Ramsey's just taking himself to the top lane. Looks like he's thinking towards the Lincoln Sphere on the earlier part of this one, but no one nearby, not under any sort of pressure. Life is good. And Ori's just jungling his Dragonite, which doesn't seem ideal. Of course, his DK form is down at the moment, but that's 2 towers now, just doing that, getting denied. I'm sure he's feeling a little irritated.
Do you like this as well? I feel like a lot of the Dragonites that we've seen as of recent do prefer to go for the Shadow Blade, but we will see down bottom a bit of a stampede as Asher was a little spooked there by Yang. But going for the Blink Dagger Rush rather than the Shadow Blade, which the Shadow Blade, that seems to be sort of the preferred build. Do you think there's a reason why Ori wants the DK instead?
Oh, well, Yang.
All to bottom lane. Set up for the Sunstrike. Yeah, it's got the living armor, saving him against some of the burst. Can they finish him off? They can't. Yang gets the chance to turn. Ghost Shroud out as well as the Death Pulse. The stun kicks in onto Roger as Roger's held in range of the Supernova Solo, trying to keep himself alive with the False Promise, but they'll surround him. Solo cannot play his way out of this one for sure, as he's just taking so much damage. Will burst as the False Promise ends, as Vici Gaming punishing that attempt from VP to get some action going down bottom.
I think what I like about the Blink Dagger in this game is, number one, Solo is an extremely selfless player. This guy will just buy sentries and wards the entire game, and with the increased duration of sentries, it's going to be very irritating to try and play into those areas as the Dragon Knight. Plus, it's more about playing as 4 and then having the Terror Blade on the other side of the map. So DK just wants to get as active as possible, as early as he can. And as long as he gets a stun, they have follow-up damage. Phoenix Egg is so much damage now that he doesn't really need the additional stuff of the Shadow Blade. The downside is, though, when he's in moments like this, he's going to be farming slower.
So even with the blink, it's still going to be hard, because who are you looking to jump on? I imagine if you see the opportunity to sort of take Solo out, delete him from the fights immediately, that's going to be a great way to start a 5v5. Yeah. But as we've seen each time, if there is still the Stampede available, sure, you'll get the kill onto the Oracle, but everyone else, they'll immediately disengage. And we'll see this attempt down bottom again to kill Yang.
That living armor was
really
a huge factor.
Those instances, protecting him from each of those instances of damage coming out in turn, allowing him that little bit of HP left to get the Ghost Shroud, turn things around. Fantastic Supernova and Overgrowth, securing them the kill onto Solo as well. Vici Gaming striking back big time. Pretty much the first time this game, but 6 to 8, 14 minutes in, less than a 1K difference between these two sides. It's certainly setting out to be the game we all hoped it to be.
Yeah, it's not something you really think about too much with living armor, but this idea of just like they have the stomp, and then they have the double edge, and they have the avalanche, and they have the toss. All of these instances, you're adding an additional block each time as compared to something like a Laguna Blade, but they've been setting up this for so long.
They're going with the blink reveal onto Ramses, but Ramses, he's fine. He's got the backup of Solo, he gets himself out. They know that there's that blink now on Ori. Indeed, no surprise here. He's one of the fastest ones.
Yeah, because he used the living armor on himself too. So he steals the Treant for him.
Roger tried to come in from behind. They have the vision upon. Got the Overgrowth. The Dragon Knight's still there as well. Does get tossed back. Is anyone here to save him? Solo's there. I think Roger's going to be fine. Quick disarm and a purifying flames keeps him healed back up. He's back towards the shrine if necessary. If
they want to go in.
They do. They jump forward. Stampede there. They get the lockdown onto Solo. Reaper Scythe out. They manage to take out the Oracle.
Oh, that great ward over there by the shrine, kind of scouting out the fact that Roger had moved over to use it. Left Solo up for grabs, and the fact this Blink Dagger is now out is going to force Solo to play much closer to Ramses, which is something he hasn't been doing. He's been on the opposite side of the map this whole time, kind of playing around, looking for kills with the Centaur and the Tiny, but now he's removed from that equation, and that's actually going to slow down the farm quite a bit, and the kill power of Virtus.pro, so I think VG are starting to get on a bit of a roll here.
They're taking a third tier 1 tower. This one will not be denied, so they'll find themselves really, and you look at sort of their half of the map, all their towers, of course, with the power of the Treant, pretty much at full health. They're yet to lose a tier 1 tower on their own side.
One thing of note, though, is, down bottom, that tornado, that's...
It's set up onto 2, and then that's going to finish off the bird. Phoenix gone.
This is the guy we haven't seen. This whole time he's been virtually invisible, right? He's been in the mid lane on no one, but he's made his way down bottom. He's been picking up these kills with the Sunstrikes, had his return to defend that bottom tower, but quietly farming away. He's going to have an extremely quick Aghanim Scepter, just treads Ags this game for no one, because he hasn't really had to grab anything else. And perhaps even an Arcane Rune here if he wants it, but a little low on mana.
I'll take it to ensure that the opposition's not able to grab themselves it. But as you say, it is scary when you see that no one invoke a 5-0-2. Hasn't died yet this game.
Looks like they decide they don't have quite enough. The meatball is still on cooldown.
With the hood and with sort of the living armor, I think as we're seeing, it's just with 2 heroes, you're you're taking a risk, you're taking a gamble on whether you're actually going to have the damage output to bring him down before suddenly a Ghost Shroud comes in, you're getting blinked on by a Dragon Knight, and you're losing a hero. You've got to be careful when trying to commit onto that Necrophos, who, as you can see, is the most farmed in the game at the moment.
Look at this in terms of top kills per 10 minutes. You can see both these teams completely bloodthirsty with Ori Paparazzi on that list, and then no one in Ramses too.
Ramses?
Smoke up mid lane here as they do spot Ramses, and I said that they'd have Solo playing closer. They do not. Ramses is going to start backing himself away here, but Solo's down bottom. He's still hunting for kills. They really want to get something out of this Blink Dagger on Pasha.
It's going to be a lot harder to catch Ramses now because he's got the money, and I believe the links fit on the way out. So suddenly this blink jump from Ori is not going to be enough to lock him down. You know, he's got to make sure you can get that instant blink stun onto the Morphling before he begins to shift. Each and every time Ramses, he is going to be able to start building up that strength.
And they're going to start setting up on bottom. Here it is, the Wombo combo. Treant and Phoenix. He's only got the brown boots here on DY, though, so a little bit difficult to make the best use of his Nature's Guise. No Tranquils, no Wind Laces.
Let's see who spots out who first. Is DY hugging the tower. I think Ramsey's showing out of the push effort from VP. As they'll pop the Lincolns straight away, moving in. There's the save, though. The Purifying Flames, Reaper Scythe's not going to do anything at all as Ramsey's waveforms up. Oh, he does get held in place, though. As Solo, he's going to die in 2. That's going to cost Ramses his life as well. They lose both of them, Trent.
Okay, it was close there, a little miscommunication with the ULs and the Overgrowth at the same time, but it's fine in the end. And Pasha will cut the wave and TP himself out, but Vici Gaming defending, still holding these tier 1s, and you know against a Treant Protector, if you don't end up getting it, if you don't fully commit, that thing is going right back up to full HP.
Absolutely, it's going to take VP a long time to get any of these outer tier 1 towers at this rate, as Vici Gaming repelling them each and every time. Of course, while that was happening down bottom, No One continues to get space at bottom, and it's so close at the moment between the farm of No One and Yang on the Necrophos. Yeah. No surprise there with the way that No One's played this game. 4 minutes and 38 faster than the patch average. That's out of 260 matches as well, so an incredible timing in that, and he's already making great steps towards the BKB.
Yeah, well, someone else is getting there a little bit faster, it would seem. As Paparazzi also pretty quiet during these last couple engagements. He's nearly there. Already has the hammer, has the Ogre Club, and just needs to get himself the Bucking Bar recipe. So from there, I assume they want to actually put some pressure onto these tier 2s, trying every single time kind of BKB, take a tier 2, or BKB, take that Roche, and it will be difficult for Virtus.pro to fight at this point.
One of the definite strengths for VP against sort of the Terrorblade is certainly having this Centaur War in his bottom lane. Cold Snap. Ooh, Fade's in there. Meatball coming down. They do find him. They'll take Fade. Does not have any sort of supernova backup to rely on. But down the line, having that Centaur as an answer to the BKB Terrorblade, it can be fantastic. You know, you sort of jump in, you force out a BKB and Metamorphosis, you've got that easy disengage. Yeah. And then VP, we've seen it before, how they can play smartly around these sort of key timings. They can then look to re-engage, because for the most part, it's a lot of short cooldowns that VP rely on to get the kills done, whereas with Vici Gaming, ultimately, they want to work with those transformations, the Elder Dragon form, the Metamorphosis. If Vici Gaming don't sort of have those at the ready until in the mid to late game, they're not going to want to fight.
Or
but
even
VP can look to pounce.
Like even the early game right now, you saw what happened, right? There's no supernova. You have yourself a Phoenix who's just down there, and they can't fully commit to that tower unless that's going to be there for the defense. So Virtus.pro just bringing the numbers this time, easily claiming it. And these Iranian heroes are playing very deep in dire territory, and Solo not expecting it.
They will catch Solo out. Reaper Scythe down with a brief fire. He's underneath the threshold.
Oh, they're getting wrapped around on, though.
See if
But
Pasha
there
can
is a
find any
sentry.
revenge. Yang's hard to jump on, and indeed Yang's got eyes on him. Sends him up into the sky. Another stun from Ori holds him down. Roger's there, though. Yang feeling very confident with his tankiness with that hood. In comes Papa with the Metamorphosis and the Reflection, slowing them down. A quick tornado for No One holds the team back, though. They'll jump over it. Ori still having the lockdown onto Pasha. They burn him down with a brief fire. They get a second, taking both Solo and Pasha out of the play. You just cannot afford to be near this lineup when they've got the Dragon form, when they've got the Metamorphosis. At this point of the game, you'll lose every single fight.
Patience, though. They will back away, even with that meta still having like half duration left. They don't want to push anything too crazy. They know there's a chance of buybacks. They know that Stampede's going to be back up, so maybe they might lose some of what they've gained here back to Virtus.pro, and instead they're just going to play it cautiously, back themselves away. So a little unfortunate there for old Pasha that there happened to be a sentry there on the ground, but of course a pretty common ward area.
It's Ramses. He has the Yasha to help sort of speed up the farm. Eventually will want to get his hands, of course, on the Manta style this game to help him get out of those potential overgrowth situations.
He's looking like a classic Morphling in this game, really. Like this split pushing, other side of the map, trying to just join fights as they're happening. No real threat to him, at least in his eyes, with that Lincoln Sphere. If they don't have the Dragon Tail to lock him down, he could probably survive his way through everything else. Going largely impeded, or unimpeded here, but they're gonna scan, see if there's anyone actually playing next to Ramses here. Maybe thinking about setting something up onto him.
It's mid lane Ori. He's trying to sort of bait the action. He does have backup behind him. The Sunray's coming out to heal him up, but it's not enough. They're able to burst Ori, but in return, the Overgrowth, they dive forward with the Supernova. VP, they have to get out. They'll start to back up and retreat, but VP, they'll absolutely take that one. Getting the jump. I think there you can sort of see Vici Gaming, they planned for sort of that bait play to happen. I guess they sort of just underestimated the potential of VP to still be able to burst down the Dragon Knight at this point. As well, Roger, he's looking to see if he can find something else. He's got the combo onto DY. DY does get the living armor through. Ramsey starting to play around with Yang at the side. As DY and Yang will be able to retreat. But being able to burst Ori like that, I mean, I was even surprised that they actually had the damage to do that.
Yeah, there's no doubt, but I mean, you have an Invoker with negative Scepter.
I guess. The
Very
combo's
early
enough.
on, so plenty of skills available for him. And you know, that just means things like there's always alacrity. You know, every one of your spells is just always openly available to you. And so the full-on defense here, oh, they're going to spot Pasha up on the high ground. Great play.
They've got the Sunray upon him, Ori jumps in with the Dragon Form, the stun as well onto Pasha. Sunstrike's not going to connect onto anyone. Dive forward, Pasha's still alive for now. Solo's keeping him alive with the False Promise, which allows him the chance to blink out. Ramsey tries to zip forward and find DY, but DY as well will be safe with Yang by his side, offering the heals with the Death Pulse.
Hard to believe everyone got out of there. Roger even had a nice little toss where he threw Yang right in the middle of everything, but forced to just go Shroud and back away. And he appears to be thinking about the Radiance there for the Necropost. He already has the recipe, so kind of guaranteed.
Roger's got his blink. So as you've sort of seen already, Roger being very good with the toss, the toss combos, the chase, the ability to get some out of the fights to be even easier now. No one has a full BKB completed, 24 minutes in. Still fantastic timing on top of the Aghanims for this Invoker. And again, 8 minutes and 26 seconds faster than the patch average. So no one, as we said, this is why they pick in this Invoker early. It doesn't matter what you do put against him in lane, he's going to hit his iron timings. He's going to be able to be this terrific force in the matches. Still, 6-0-3, yet to die this game.
All right, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the Paparazzi in a match like this. Yeah, that net worth. No one just absolutely slaying. Look at the hero damage as far too. I mean, that's the story of an Invoker that's getting off this good of a start. But it means Paparazzi, what does he have to worry about in this game, right? You already pointed out the fact that the Centaur's going to be hopping in there, and that's what's going to try and threaten this Metamorphosis, and now this 10-second BKB. But then past that, you have this Morphling can just be hopping inside the fight. You're going to be having a Tiny with this Blink Dagger who can create these weird toss plays that completely break how a fight's supposed to work. And they're going to put another full effort into here to try and beat through the living armor.
Team back to defend, Vici Gaming. VP.
They knew he was
make a
coming
strike.
in there.
There's the jump. Pasha's found the disable onto Paparazzi on the side. Can they kill Paparazzi? They wait forward, but Paparazzi gets the BKB. The Sunder. He's back up to full and ready to fight with the Metamorphosis. They turn straight away towards Roger, who's caught, held back underneath the Supernova. Roger will fall. Jump forward from Ori's got the disable onto Solo. They get two. They force VP back.
Wow.
As no one very lucky to not lose his own life there. But nonetheless, again, Vici Gaming, they're proving to be so good at holding these towers, preparing. They're not letting VP get away with these pushes each and every time in with the fight. And we saw that. They nearly killed Paparazzi. Yeah. But with the BKB against this lineup of VP, this Terrorblade is just so damn strong.
Looked like they couldn't quite get the damage there from no one. Just the only one who wasn't involved there in terms of, like they even saw that Paparazzi was coming in that tree line. They had this ward in behind the tower, perfectly scouted it. They're all pinging it, waiting and waiting, and he came in extremely late because of the delayed TP, but they couldn't sync up their spells. And so that means it's 2 BKB charges used now. Yeah, down to 8 seconds, and that's gonna become a very real concern for Paparazzi this game though.
Paparazzi, close to Manta completion too. So we've already seen how hard he is to trap and control with the BKB with the Manta as well. It's going to be a lot harder, but they're making a good timing here.
Yeah,
VP, they know there's no meta. You've got to go.
Everything's down, but look at that scan right now from Vici Gaming. They know they're in the area.
They know they have to play safe. Vici Gaming are not letting up, not sort of allowing themselves this sort of window to be exposed and abused by VP. They're playing safe. Yang is up there on the top, but the cell fuels able to dodge a lot of the damage from the Meteor. Still has the Ghost Shroud. Taken off by the Tornado as Yang will fall. Though you lose Yang. Vici Gaming, do they want to try and strike back? That's the question. Ori, he's gone in on the river. Will walk away as still without those ultimates. Not wanting to fight a toss forward. Pasha trying to close the gap, but Ori gets the blink away. To get Yang, it's a big kill.
Yeah, I love that fight. Oddly set up by this Observer Sentry combo. Just got denied there by the Ancients, but there's some destroyed trees that were giving it too much vision.
Pasha nearly get taken down. They sort of bait in with the Centaur. Fade has to pop. The Supernova, Ori
to fight.
jumps in, he's trying to finish up Pasha, but Pasha's got solo on the high ground. False Promise will be there, Pasha's going to be fine, and now they can turn. Jump forward, BKB out from Ori just before the Who Stomp comes into play. They're trying to burst down Pasha with the Sunray, but he's too tanky with the backup. The resistance from Solo that Solo's offering. VP can keep on fighting, they zip forward, they burst DY. Ori and Paparazzi just backing away, jumping again, Pasha, Who Stomp, double edge, Sunstrike does the job. They'll lose Rogers who are Reaper's side, but Paparazzi has to BKB, has to back off no one. With the control, Ice Wall's down, slowing Yang. Buyback's actually going to come out from Ori, but no one. BKB's TP's out in the middle of it. He says, we are getting out of here. We made the buyback on the Dragon Knight. Sure, they lose Solo, but forcing a buyback out of Ori at this stage of the game, that's a nice win for VP.
That's a Dragon Knight who doesn't have Dragon Form buying back in. You know you're in trouble. Like, if he thinks he needs to try and make that play to try and get the game back onto your side, and that means he loses a lot of gold, makes that fight worse than perhaps it had to be for the side of Vici Gaming. So they need to find something, and this is what they're going to go for. The meta was still up, but instantly scouted here from no one.
Contest.
Pasha nearby. Forward Spirit can try and scout it out too.
As you said, this would be fighting into meta. Still no Supernova, Dragon Form, or Reaper side for Overgrowth though. Because no one starts to try and push them out of the pit. EMP, Roshan very low. Pasha's got to try and get in out, but DY, he's got his eyes on Pasha, can make sure that he can't get the blink off, so Vici Gaming get the space to take Roshan, get the Aegis. Now they want to fight. Ori pops the BKB, getting himself on top of no one. The Stampede comes out from Pasha, that will separate the Invoker, get no one out of there. Waveform from Ramses keeps him driven towards the middle lane. Fade's trying to chase with the dive through, but they're just a little too speedy as Ramses will be fine. Jump back in from Roger with the combo, isn't enough to burst down Yang. The Supernova comes out, False Promise from Solo, keeps Roger alive. Pasha, he's trying to get back in on the fight. They've managed to take the Aegis away from them already, but they're back for round 2. Yang straight back in, toss up onto Fade. Fade still able to get the Sunray through as Yang moving in, picks up the double kill. Buyback coming out from Pasha, but Ramses burnt down by the Breathe Fire. Vici Gaming utilizing this Aegis push, baiting a fight out of VP as they tried to fight into the Aegis. Sure, they took it out of the hands of Yang, but Vici Gaming, they were more than ready to fight out on that second life of the Necrophos as they take a team fight and they take a tier 2 tower.
They're so good at disengaging on the side of VP that I thought they were just going to get out of there. But then they start coming back in and out, back in, and although they took the Roche at a dangerous time for Vici Gaming because they didn't have the Dragon Form, they didn't have the Supernova, well, that meant that after those things were actually back up. So I think VP may be overestimating just how much they had kind of like left in the tank for that engagement. And they lose a lot of the advantage they had gained. It's suddenly a 7K lead for Vici Gaming, Terrorblade and Necrophos on top.
Any game where you see it's Terrorblade at the top, it's a tough one if you're playing up against it. As we see here again, as you say, VP's sort of attempt to keep on fighting into all of these combos. Short Pasha gets in, he's able to burst down the Aegis. Solo making Roger feel confident with sort of the False Promise backup, but they're instantly going to lose those two.
Here too, in his morphed form, just a little bit too low for a Breathe Fire. Just evaporated.
It's just as quickly as we see VP make the play, force a buyback out of Ori. It's Vici Gaming's turn to force out a buyback from a core of VP as Pasha buying back in that fight really starts to set the difference. You know, so far, 30 minutes in, this game has been so close between the two teams. We're now starting to get to the point where these sort of team fights, they will make the game swing heavily, one way or another.
And just like that too, this could go completely back VP's way.
So now Pasha walks into Ori. Ori's on the high ground, quick with the stun. Pasha gets the ult up, but there's the counter. They've got the Overgrowth to hold the sensor in place, the Reaper's Sight to offer the damage to take him out. And that's a dieback. He's gone for 120 seconds. He does not have buyback available, of course, after that mid lane play. So we'll see what Vici Gaming can do with that.
That is a kill without using anything besides the sight. I mean, they had to use the Dragon Form, I suppose, so...
What's the timing on meta?
Oh, it's still there.
It's still there. He's got it back, yeah. He's got it from back from that middle play earlier. So this is a big opportunity for Vici Gaming. No Centaur for 90 seconds, as we've seen. The Stampede has been a huge component of allowing VP to sort of play this jump in, jump out Dota 2. They can't do it without the Stampede.
And he takes the Morph a little early here too. But I guess we don't have to worry too much with the cooldown now as he's level 18. And there you go. Roger finds the answer. Cut the waves.
Slowing down that push, making Vici Gaming head back.
He's been scouted out here though, but again, that lack of move speed. Not enough for the Treant.
He will probably play with his life, but as you say, that little play, that little job getting done, stopping the potential push and buying time whilst they are without the Centaur.
Meanwhile, there is another engagement here, it looks like, but... Oh, they're going in.
And they are. They get the jump. Straight away, Ori's found the opening stun. They're on top of no one, but there's the false promise. BKB's out as well as no one backs up. Paparazzi's still able to punch quite a heavy bit of damage into Solo. Ramses as well, just sort of standing in between the two of them. Solo does fall, but Ramses and no one get out. Their core survive. Down bottom, finally, Fade and DY able to finish off the kill onto Roger. Sunstrike's not going to connect onto Fade, so now there's 3 dead. None of these heroes, in fact, with buyback. They still have timing. Half of the duration still there for Metamorphosis, so they're up to the high ground. Fortification will come out, but it's only up to no one, and Ramses to hold against the 5-man push of Vici Gaming.
They want this tier 3. This is your big goal here. I mean, they still have things like BKB TP as well.
They're going to get it. They take the tower, they back off. Vici Gaming still able to continue to just control the game. They're getting away with these long cooldown spells as VP, they struggled. Those 2 sort of mistakes in the mid-game, trying to force a fight at the worst time, it's cost them heavily. It's now a significant jump up in advantage and lead for Vici Gaming at 33 minutes in.
I've been eyeing no one this game so much. Like the 8-0-3, it's been looking very good, but quietly in the background there, Yang has just exploded. After that Radiance, he already picked up a heart now too. I mean, he's almost top of the chart. He's keeping up with a Terror Blade in a game like this. That is absolutely absurd. And he's also 10-1-5, so pretty damn good game. Pretty good day for the Necrophos, honestly. I feel like this hero's been doing excellent.
It really has. And this game as well, all 3 cores of Vici Gaming are so hard to kill. You've got the double Dragon's Blood talent now picked up on the DK. There's Terrorblade already with the BKB Mountain, as you say. There's this heart on the Necrophos.
Backed up by Living Armor, too.
They're so hard to kill. They're these huge brutes that even with the ults down, you're going to struggle with. And we see at the moment, the boys on Pain out back, preparing for their series that will, of course, be up after this one. Taking in this Dota 2 action between these 2 incredible teams, VP and Vici Gaming.
Ori doesn't have the Dragon Form this time, but he'll still get there in time with the Halberd to pop the Lincolns.
Still the backup of Solo. More chase down is there. Yang trying to close the gap in on him, but a wave form out will save him. Solo's not going to be quite as lucky. Yul Scepter's there to cancel the TP as Solo gets scythed out of the game.
Oh, these heroes have 3,000 HP right now.
They're so tanky. Well, pretty much all of them. Yeah, all 3 of these core heroes. How do you kill this?
It is not going to be easy.
This is a game as well where Cyril Ramsey's down the line. You know, you normally look to a Morphling to just instantly jump in and just nuke someone down. That's not going to happen this game.
Yeah. I mean, where Roger's standing right now tells you a lot about this game. He's waiting for another wave. Or potentially a courier. But that is parked at home.
They need some sort of perfect combos to come out from no one. Pasha mid lane just jumped and shredded. That's a Centaur dying very, very quickly, scarily so for VP.
I mean, that's a skill that they need on their side, right? They need this Sunray, this percent base.
Absolutely.
They're lacking it.
They are indeed, as Vici Gaming up for the push once more. Mid lane, they're breaking away another tier 3 tower from VP. It's a buyback from Solo. No Centaur for 30 seconds. No one trying to lead in with the Tornado EMP onto Ori.
Ramses is doing his best to split push along the bottom lane, but he knows he has to come back in case they go for the racks.
Roger again with a quick wave cut in the middle. We'll slow things down maybe a little bit. They do still have the 2 siege creeps alive in the middle of Vici Gaming. Paparazzi ready to commit with the Metamorphosis. Focusing down this melee racks with Ori on the Dragon Form too. VP, can they really hold them off? There's the disarm for now from the Oracle, from the Deafening Blast as well from no one, but there's the jump. They're committing. Paparazzi's going pretty deep. He's got the BKB though. He's fine. Quick Sunder as well. Stampede comes out, so VP keep the distance now. Maybe they could look to jump back in. They'll move forward as Ramses with the stolen reflection beats down on Paparazzi. They've got the stun onto them, but the supernova from Fade is successful. They couldn't kill off the egg in time. Jump forward from Ori. BKB as he looks towards no one with a false promise. Solo keeps no one safe. Ramses comes towards the side, wave forming away from this Sunray. A Tornado, no one. Cataclysm 2. Is it going to connect? It does onto the DK. Ori's pretty low. Can they finish off this Dragon Knight? The burst from Ramses. It's not enough. Ori survives. There's going to be Solo dead, Roger dead. Both no buybacks. No one now has to retreat. As Ori, he's not done yet. Jumps in. Dragon Tail onto Pasha as Pasha's gone as well.
Paparazzi loses his life, getting maybe a bit too aggressive there. Didn't temper himself, but that secondary Lincoln's saving no one for a while, but in the end, just the persistence, that ridiculous beefiness of the other two cores on Vici Gaming.
It really is. Vici Gaming just able to waltz down lanes. And VP play as hard as they will at this point. You just look at what's on the board, this matchup against this matchup in terms of heroes, and it's just hard to find the numbers from VP's lineup that's required to deal with the numbers of HP that Vici Gaming's heroes have.
Just some simple math. That's all we're doing here.
It really is at the moment.
But for now, I'd say the next map would be add 1 Aegis, +1 Cheese, and go high ground once more. So VP knowing that, they have to try and find an answer here.
We do see what each time, Ramses is able to get the ult off onto the Terrorblade, it does a lot. Getting Reflection against Vici Gaming's lineup, just getting obviously the Metamorphosis as well. These are fantastic skills to have, especially with sort of the Radiance build-up from the Necrophos. The damage, as we saw, Paparazzi's own illusion doing to himself. Ramses has to get in position for these big reflections each and every time, it feels like, because that is sort of the missing damage output that can sort of allow VP the possibility of actually killing some of Vici Gaming's cores. As in the mid lane, they're ready to go again. Roger tries to slide away, but the stun connects from Ori. Roger's held outside of the base. He'll try and back up. He's going to get the false promise thrown down by Solo. A tornado of rail from no one holds them back. With the heals, Roger will be allowed to get back safely. Just enough from the Purifying Flames to keep him topped up and fine.
You can see this vision control still remaining around the pit as well for Virtus.pro. They have an idea as to if they ever go back for the Aegis, they're going to know. And the Radiant are scanning to see if they are coming forward, and they are correct.
So at this moment, there is no space for any sort of misplays from VP. They have to execute perfectly. But they go for the smoke. Pasha blinks out of the smoke, won't be able to catch Ori as Ori was already blinking out. That will show Pasha in the middle lane. The rest of the team still smoked up. They do see Paparazzi. Paparazzi not going to be jumped on for now.
Very tense here.
It's
There's
so
no dragon form here too.
It's so hard to jump him, because you look on Vici Gaming's side, they got Ori, jump, Dragon Tail, it's instant. From Pasha, you're jumping in against Vici Gaming. With the way that these guys are playing, they're going to be able to react with a BKB to that Who Stomp cast animation every time. It's not a reliable initiation.
Solo in the middle of this TP's bottom to get this bounty runes. This guy is dedicated. In fact, they're going to use this to get all four. What a great call. So they come in, they pressure to try and ensure that VG don't get themselves a free Roche. VG don't want to go into a fight without the Dragon form, so they back themselves away. And now you cut into that lead. Excellent maneuver there from Virtus.pro. DY, once again, same positioning he had in the previous fight. He just went for a tree cut play too to help improve his ward vision.
With no one being there, they will be aware that with those trees cut, there's likely to be those wards placed.
Roger has quite the angle over here. No vision to the north of the pit if they were to commit, and Paparazzi will go back in.
No one. Quickly trying to burn the mana of Ori, and we'll do so.
He gets it too. So, they'll have the Soul Ring for the Dragon form, but past that, nothing.
Paparazzi just continues to focus at Roche. Not scared at all at the contest that VP can bring around the pit. Sunstrike comes down, but the Living Armor blocks some of it. It's already there on Paparazzi, keeping him very much healed up.
Bit of a stalemate here, Owen.
It really is. I mean, VP, you can taste it. They want to get in this pit, but it's so hard. To the point where I don't know if they want to really sort of commit a full 5-man effort. Their best bet at this moment may just be to sort of throw Pasha.
Oh, Paparazzi just goes in.
Paparazzi indeed, straight up to the high ground. Stampede gets forced out. He loses his mana here to the EMP. Ramses does manage to get the Terrorblade form as he heads forward, goes for the reflection. Roger tries to TP away, but the damage is out. As Roger's gone, will buy back straight away. They cannot afford, as a team VP at this stage, to fight 4 versus 5. They have to have the full roster at all possibilities.
So they pop the GK form once again, but very patient there from Paparazzi. When he blinked in on the high ground like that, you think he's just gonna like BKB and meta and everything like that, but they quickly back away and he holds cool, keeping that available. Does need some mana though, so buys some mangoes, gets clarity rolling, and then he's gonna get back to that pit.
The gem picked up on Pasha, so they can start to try and reclaim some of this vision control.
He is still a Terrorblade down in that bottom lane too. So he's gonna stop the illusions, he's gonna clear some camps. He's trying to put this pressure down here to try and force them down.
He is, and it is getting a response. Fade's gonna start TPing away from the pit, but at the same time, Ori jumps in, gets the stun immediately. Paparazzi's in as well with the BKB. The meta just rips apart no one, as the Invoker will get taken out. Roger as well has gone double kill for Paparazzi around the pit. VP, they've got to get away as Vici Gaming, they'll resume their push here. The attempt on Roshan, the push down bottom was put to a stop as Ramses got out of there as soon as Fade showed up. As Vici Gaming, they'll take Roshan and they'll get that Aegis on Paparazzi as he's still got a good half the duration of the Metamorphosis to play around with in the middle lane. So straight away, Vici Gaming convert that Rosh attempt straight for another push.
And such persistent dewarding there from DY. All those sentries around the pit, that meant there was no vision over that DD rune too. And so they try and start a fight because the Phoenix left, and they just get destroyed by DDTV.
Ramses has got the Skadi, but a buyback's come out from no one. He's going to look for the perfect angle, does get the Tornado onto the three of them, but the BKB's out from Ori. Passage tries to jump forward, but a Yule's dodge from Yang keeps him safe from the Blink who stop initiation. The BKB wears out on Ori, but the racks, they're just being focused by Yang. The range racks has gone, the Meta is falling low. DY is found in the tree line as Ramses gets one. Paparazzi tries to leap forward with the Sunder. Paparazzi's back up to full. The save from Solo keeps Pasha alive for now with the false promise. The three-man dump out. Ramses with the BKB and the Metamorphosis that he took away from the Terrorblade, tried to punch back desperately, but it's not enough. He has to retreat, get himself back to base. Solo will fall, jump forward from Ori, the cold snap, Tornado. So they're trying to do everything to get Ramses back safe, and they will get him back to the fountain. Without that play from Noah, Ramses would have been dead for sure, as he doesn't have the capability of buying back Ramses. So that little play may be giving VP another chance, but they're without Solo.
It's so slim though.
As Vici Gaming goes straight towards the top. They're looking for that another set of rags. Roger jumps in, he'll get the toss back. Buyback is now back up for Solo, so he's in, ready to commit for the fight. Roger, focused down with the Sunray. Ori jumps in, stone onto Ramsey, but no one. Tornado, Cataclysm, Meatball isn't enough to do it. It's brought Ori down pretty low, he's down to half health. Wait for Ramsey's trying to finish the kill, but Ori's BKB is back up. Ramsey's into the Terrorblade, reflections out, but still they're struggling in damage. The toss, Yang, he's in the fountain. They've called the Necrophos, he has the Ghost Shroud for now. He's trying to get himself out of the fountain, he gets the blink off. He's out of the fountain, back towards the racks as Vici Gaming take the top racks.
All the space was made, even if it means hopping into the fountain for a little bit.
Oh,
because
they'll
team is
lose
cleaned
no
up.
one. GG is cold. Vici Gaming looking absolutely terrifying in this game one. The way that they played, the way that, you know, VP, it felt like they really did bring their 100% to this game, but it just wasn't enough. Vici Gaming's draft and lineup, the way that they played so perfectly with their timings, their idea on how to tackle the game, move from objective to objective. There was just a point of the game where Vici Gaming, they were never slipping up. They were not letting up for VP to have any chance to strike back at sort of these long potential weaknesses with these long cooldowns. VP just couldn't quite hit back.
They got him a few times for sure, but as the levels start piling up, those cooldowns get lower and lower, and they found that execution. I mean, it's kind of reminiscent of like a Drow Strat. If you're not hitting those timings, things go a little bit poorer for you, and it's very technical when you're getting to DK ulti and Metamorphosis, but they found it, and they knew they had to push that, right? Because this Invoker, he was free-farming. No one looked very scary. We saw all the records, right? I don't know if you guys noticed, but that was a pretty damn fast Aghanims. Didn't end up mattering though. Ramses on the Morphling, another like specialty for this guy, and they still found their way past those towers.
It's got to be worrying for VP, seeing Vici Gaming bring this sort of power in game one. As Vici Gaming take the first game of this best-of-3 series. Back to you guys on the panel.
Yes, thank you, Owen. Game one. Wow, what a start for Vici Gaming. Very fast down of the blocks, and they've taken the first game in this upper bracket final, of course. Best of 3, so still a couple of opportunities for Virtus.pro. Let's get some thoughts now from our panel. Cap, Blitz, and Kyle are back with us. Cap, we'll start with you. Just great plays, some styling going on at the end as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Vici Gaming just looked very clean in this game. They secured an advantage, and then they just managed to build and build on that more and more. I particularly like that Yang made the read that this game was not going to be a fast victory for them and opted to try and build into a second carry with that early Radiance build, maintaining top net worth almost the entire game.
Yeah, and first 20 minutes, Kyle, kind of plodded along.
I honestly didn't even feel like I needed to pay much attention to it because you know what the game's going to end up. It's going to be Roche fights. It's going to get to that mid to late game transition. Early game's cool and all, but it's going to just be mostly everyone trying to activate their games and get to the point where it matters.
Standout player for you, Blitz?
I really liked how Ori played this game. Him or Yang. I felt like Ori was just very aggressive. I felt like he went the right item build as well. He had something that could consistently pop the Lincolns. He was always a threat on the map. They itemized so that they could always deal with the Lincolns. So that forced Ramses to go for the BKB. So I would be okay with Ori or Yang, maybe with a slight nod to Ori, because I felt like Yang's job was easier. Just run in.
Yeah, he just farms. He just plays a Necrophos.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some more thoughts from you in just a moment. Let's check in with Purge and see what pearls of wisdom he's got for us this time.
It was a really good game, and VP definitely made it close, but they were in some terrible positions even earlier than that first Roche fight. One of the benefits of having a Treant Protector on your team is that you're able to defend all of your towers very easily. So at this stage in the game, it was actually pretty tough for VP to do that much. They're missing their mid tower, their offlane tower, their safe lane tower, partially because of Dragon Knight. He can easily kill that mid tower. Invoker can't zone him out of lane and take the tower himself. And what this means is that there's a lot of safe zones for Vici Gaming to farm. They can farm this tri-camp super easily. They can farm some of these camps over here. And in fact, they can probably farm all of their camps because they still have their own tier 1. But on the other side, on VP's side, they can't really farm the jungle past like these camps, and even those are dangerous. And they can sort of farm this camp, but it's also a little dangerous. So what they need to do is gain map control so that they can actually do something on the map. So at around the 16-minute mark, when the game was still really close with other than the whole tower disadvantage thing, they did a smoke through the enemy jungle and they put down 4 observer wards. And the purpose of this was just so they could have some vision in the area of the map where they were gonna take the fight. And the first tower on the bottom, the safe lane, that's the easiest tower to take. So they wanted to make sure that they had vision of the enemy jungle so that they could possibly get a pick and get a kill. So when they did end up pushing, they ended up doing this with Morphling and Oracle sitting behind him. And he did buy him some time and save his life from Reaper's Scythe. But what happens is Vici Gaming commits to the fight knowing they have better team fight, and they end up wiping both heroes, which is great. But the problem is that they used a crucial spell. It was the Supernova. Using the Supernova meant that now when the next push comes, Vici Gaming can't actually hard commit to a team fight. So they didn't have all of their heroes there when they finally ended up diving. In that moment that they won that fight, they were able to take the enemy Ancients and cross the map. But once the enemy heroes respawned, it ended up resetting in terms of game position. So they ended up diving the tower, they ended up killing the Phoenix, and then they finally get their first tower. If they aren't successful doing that, they basically have no map control for the rest of the game. But doing this moment was hugely valuable for Virtus.pro, but they lost that Roche fight really badly, and as a result, they got so far behind they couldn't grab a win or stabilize.
Thanks very much, Purge. Purge with the breakdown there. We need to do the MVP. Obviously, this particular game, there's one man that stands out for me as a fellow support player. 52 wards placed and 12 killed for DY. That's an MVP performance cap, isn't it?
You literally just, you heard all the panelists. We're analysts. We're supposed to analyze the game, and you just decide to hijack the MVP.
No, I'm not.
You heard Blitz say, I think the DK or the Necrophos, I think but Yang or Ori, and you just...
But 52 what? I mean,
just because he's a 5 position, he's literally a living armor bot, Paul. Just because he's another 5 position and you have some sort of thing with supports, doesn't mean you just get to choose the MVP.
I mean, you just choose off-lane players then. You know how we settle this? You know how we settle this? We settle this like good gamers always do, in-game.
Right you are, Red Eye. Time to solve this argument with Capstachio versus Red Eye 1889. Now, fun fact, Jack the Ripper took most of his victims in 1889, and Red Eye was not at an esports event at that time. Isn't that strange? Here we go. Oh, my God. I forgot his name. What is that? Capstachio really putting in a fight here as Red Eye 1889 using his 16-year-old vigor so long ago. Capstachio trying to make his way out. Oh, and Red Eye loses the shirt. Woo! This used to make the valedictorian ladies crazy. They'd show an ankle or two. Here, oh my God! Capstachio just taking him out. An incredible display of fiery, salty power as Capitalist. He provides as much nutrition as a pistachio does in real life, baby. Look at him go. That's protein. Back to you, Red Eye.
All right. So who do you want as MVP then?
I would like Ori, please. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Capstachio?
Where is he?
That's the best you can come up with, Slacks. I don't know where you are in this stadium.
God. I was born well before 1889 as well.
I mean, there was a dank meme with Red Eye. But Capstachio, really?
I don't know. Anyway, more serious stuff. Ori, MVP of the game. You all right with that?
Yeah.
Gents, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah? All good. All right, great. I think we've got some agreement back on the panel, so that's all good. We're back to normal. We're getting psyched. We're getting ready for game number 2 of the upper bracket, and it's coming up after this break. We'll see you soon.